In this video, I will show you how to do boot Kali Linux 2023.1 with Windows 11. I'm going to show you install Kali Linux alongside with the Windows 11 operating system on the same drive without any data loss. The guide, which I will be showing in a moment, is one of the safest and easiest ways that you could consider following it of installing Kali Linux on your PC or laptop. Also, at the end of this video, I will show you how to uninstall Kali Linux from Do Boot safely. As per my testing, if you follow this video carefully, you will be able to successfully do boot your PC or laptop with Kali Linux 2023. The only requirements of this video, you need a PC or laptop running Windows 11 or Windows 10. Next up, you need an 8 gigs or higher pen drive to create a bootable disk with Kali Linux. Lastly, you need to reserve a free space of 40 GB or higher from your drive. That being said, moving into step number 1, open your favorite browser and go to the official website of Kali Linux and download the latest version. By the time of recording this video, Kali Linux 2023.1 is the latest version available to download. It's available in both 32-bit and 64-bit installers. For now, I will be choosing a Kali Linux 64-bit installer. Now go to the second link in the description, which will take you to this page where you have to download a tool named as Balena Etcher. This tool helps in creating a valid bootable pen drive with Kali Linux. You can also use alternative tools like Win32 Disk Imager and WinToy to make a bootable USB. Once it is done downloading all of the files, place them somewhere on your computer for easier navigation. Now go ahead and install Balena Etcher. To set up a dual boot and install Kali Linux 2023 alongside Windows 11, you need to create a free space. To do so, open Start menu and type Disk Manager. From the search result, choose Create Format and Partitions. This will open a Disk Manager which shows all of the connected drives along with their partitions. Now, as you can see in my case, one drive is connected. If you notice, drive 0 has 3 partitions. The first one is the EFI partition where the Windows bootloader is present. The second one is the main Windows, and the last one is the recovery partition. I'm going to choose the C drive to shrink the free space for Kali Linux. In your case, it might be D, E, or F, whatever. Just choose the partition and right click on it. Now choose Shrink Volume and allocate a minimum of 40 GB or higher for Kali Linux. You can type the value in megabytes. In my case, I'm going to allocate 100,000 megabytes and click on Shrink. This will create an unallocated free space. Now go ahead and connect the pen drive to your PC or laptop and open Balena Etcher. Select the first option and import Kali Linux ISO. Now select the USB drive and click on Flash to start writing the image file. Sit back and relax. The process will take some time depending on the writing speed of your pen drive. Now go ahead and reboot your computer. While it's rebooting, you need to enter into BIOS settings. Use the keyboard shortcut based on your motherboard. Now mostly could be F2, F9, or Escape key. The first thing to do after entering into BIOS is to enable USB boot. Then change the boot order by setting the USB drive as primary. Now go ahead and disable Secure Boot, which is very important. Otherwise, Kali Linux may not going to boot. If you have any option like Microsoft's third-party UEFI, just go ahead and enable it. It's also better to clear any keys or certificates after disabling the Secure Boot. This way, it won't cause any installation problems. Once it's done, save the changes. Now your system will boot into Kali Linux from the USB drive. If in case it fails to boot, use the boot menu to load Kali Linux install media. Now choose graphical install option. If in case you're trying to install Kali Linux on a laptop, it's recommended to connect the Ethernet cable for the internet connection. Now choose the language. In my case, I will choose English as my default system language. Next up, choose your location and keyboard layout. Now the installer setup will start loading all the components and wait for a few seconds. You configure the network. You can choose an Ethernet or WLAN interface for the internet connection. For now, I'm going to choose the first option. Now leave the hostname as Kali, and in the domain section, I will leave it as empty. Now create a new user account by entering the username and password. It's time to create a partitions for Kali Linux. In this video, I will be using the automatic option. I'm going to choose the largest continuous space. This will find the free space automatically that we allocated for Kali Linux in step number 2 and creates necessary partitions. If in case you have a spade drive on your PC, you can choose an entire disk option and select the appropriate drive. But for now, I'm going to choose the first option. Now as you can see, these are the two new partitions it has created, and click on continue. The installer setup will start installing the basic system files. Once it's done, you will be presented with this menu where you have to choose your favorite desktop environment. You can choose GNOME, KDE, Plasma, and XFCE. In my case, I'm going to install the default desktop environment and click on continue. Now sit back and relax. The installation process may take some time depending on the writing speeds of the disk. Once it's done, go ahead and restart the computer. Whilst restarting, eject the pen drive. Now by default, it will boot into Grub bootloader. From there, you can boot into Windows 11 or Kali Linux. For now, let's boot into Kali Linux. Now keep in mind, on some laptops that have Radeon graphics and NVIDIA graphics card, you may notice a boot loop. To fix that issue, restart your PC. Then from the grub menu, highlight the first option and press the letter E on your keyboard. Now this will take you to the editor mode. Now look for the Linux option and go to the end of this line and delete these arguments and add this new argument. Once it's done, press F10 or Ctrl+X to boot Kali Linux without using GPU. Then inside Kali, open the terminal and run this command to update the system. Once it's done, reboot the PC. Again, press E and pass the kernel argument to disable the GPU temporarily and boot into Kali. Now type this command and install NVIDIA graphic drivers automatically. Once it's done, reboot your computer. This time, it should boot into Kali Linux using NVIDIA drivers. That's pretty much it. This is how you do boot Kali Linux and Windows 11 on any PC or laptop. As a bonus part of the video, if in case you don't like Kali Linux and decided to uninstall, then reboot your computer or laptop back to Windows 11. Now open the Disk Manager by typing this command on the search menu. Here, next to the C drive, you can see two partitions, which has been created while installing Kali Linux. Go ahead and remove these two partitions by deleting them. And now you will see unallocated free space that you can use and expand Windows. Now go ahead, type CMD from the search bar and run as administrator. Then type disk part. Then type list disk. This will show all of the connected drives to the PC. In my case, I have connected only one drive, which is where Windows and Linux bootable files are installed. I'm going to select this drive by typing this command. Then type list partition to list out all of the partitions on this drive. You might see 3+ partitions. Look for the system partition or EFI partition. Now, mostly it could be the first partition. Now select this partition by typing this command. Now once it's selected, type assign letter is equals to R to mount this partition temporarily. Now type exit to get out of the disk part prompt. Now type R:, this will change the directory. Here type dir to list the contents of that partition. Now change the directory into EFI by typing this command. Now if I type dir, this will list out the contents of the EFI folder. Here you can see Kali Linux and Windows boot files. Go ahead and delete the Kali directory by running this command. Once it's done, reboot the PC. That's it. Now we have successfully removed Kali Linux. Now restart your computer. It should boot your system directly into Windows 11 and you won't face any grub issues. This is how you properly set up a dual boot on your Windows computer. That's pretty much it. What do you guys think about it? If you have any questions, do post them in the comment section down below and I will try to help you. Thanks for watching my video. This has been KSK Ryle. I will see you in the next one.